great eyes. Yeah, with just one single bright light, this feels like I'm overdosing. This is great. Oh, fuck. I've been going to therapy because I got bullied a lot as a kid. Apparently that makes you a weird adult. Yeah. I got bullied a lot because I have beautiful, beautiful red hair. Yeah. Yeah, did you know this is as close as white people can come to experiencing racism, guys? Yeah. It's being a ginger, even with a hard R. That's us, you know? You hear it every day. Look at the ginger kid. He doesn't have a soul. And you let it roll off your back, but he's still your fucking dad. It's okay. I get to decide what kind of nursing home he goes into. So, shouldn't have raised me Baptist. The best part of that is you being like, yes, I'm going to put my father in a nursing home that beats them instead of feeds them. Yeah. I don't know. I do have a good relationship with my dad. He's kind of my best friend. Unfortunately, I haven't learned when not to tell him things. And I knew that a lot, but I didn't think it was going to be a problem until I told him I bought a dad rig. Yeah. Okay, cool. One person does expert weed. If you don't know what a dab is, it's like you take a pipe, it's like a bomb, but it has this metal thing, and you heat it up, and then you drop concentrated marijuana on it, and you smoke it, and then you feel like you're God. It's amazing. And I told my dad that I bought one, explained it to him, and he was like, son, that sounds like you're freebasing weed. And I was like, well, we call it dabs because that sounds less like drug abuse. And he's like, I'm very worried about you. Those are hard drugs you're doing. Do you think you'd ever do harder drugs? You think you'd ever do heroin? Pro tip, if your dad asks you that question, he just wants a quick no. I don't want to lie to my dad. I said maybe, which was the wrong answer. But I don't know how bad life's gonna get. Or how good jazz could be. You know, like, maybe I need some heroin someday. I like to think that I'm sex positive. I'm married. I married my high school sweetheart. We've been together for 20 years. She's my best friend. I like to think that I'm sex positive. You know, we've been together for a long time, so I basically just have one woman's opinion about it. That's very hard to draw an opinion about, you know. But I am. Like, I love oral sex. I know, brave. You know, I'm a big fan. I want to be clear. When I say I'm a fan, I don't mean I like it. I'm a fan, okay? I read blogs. I'm in a fantasy league. You know, like, I keep my head in the game. And one day my wife was like, hey, let's spice things up. Tell me your fantasies. And I was like, fuck no. Let's talk about funerals. I was like, I don't think you'd understand my fantasy. She's like, I've been through everything with you. We've lost all of our grandparents together. You think you can't tell me something sexual that I wouldn't understand? And I was like, okay, baby, I'm gonna trust you. I'd like to have a threesome. And my wife said, of fucking course you do. Like I call over our hottest friend and then you watch me fuck her and then you fuck us both like you're our god. And I was like, oh cool, you did understand. Okay. So sorry about that. And she's like, very brave, very brave. How about we have your little threesome, but instead of you, me, and another girl, it's you, me, and another guy. And I was like, I had not considered that. What about Scott? She's like, we don't know a Scott. And I was like, no, you don't know a Scott. I know an incredible Scott, he's in my fantasy league. I did, however, learn I'm not sex positive, and I learned it on Valentine's Day this year. Because my wife is like, I got us something special. It's gonna be a memory that lasts a lifetime. I was like, all right, cool, we're finally having a threesome. She gave me a box with a bright red ribbon, and I opened that box up. And inside was a kit to make a dildo. Of John Michael Bond. And it was a kit to make a dildo of my dick. And I'm sorry, fuck, that's a rude gift. Okay, like that is, especially if you want to make it together. Fuck you, absolutely. And she's like, why are you worried? It's not that hard. What we do, we mix this stuff up. We get the mold, you pour it in, you get hard, you stick it in. 5 minutes later, you pull it out. We make them, I'm gonna have you forever. And I was like, cool, I'm all for trying brand new shit in bed, but why are we starting with me staying hard for 5 minutes? I have anxiety. But also, how much mix do we get? Do I get one shot at this? You know, like, what if it goes wrong? Do we just put it on the mantle like a sad thumbs up? You know, like, I'm building a legacy, woman, give me answers. You know? Bruce Martin, if we get fucking divorced, I'm gonna have to stand in a court of law in front of a magistrate and argue for custody of my own dick. I'd be like, Your Honor, that is literally mine. You know? He's gonna be like, well, prove it. I'm like, I did not think there'd be this many people here. I know I'm under oath. I did take a pill that night. I'm doing my best. Doing my best. Oh, God. She was like, what if you died? Don't you want me to remember you? And I'm like, no, not like that. I want you to tell people I was a comedian. I was an artist. I don't want you to tell people, yeah, I've got like 3/4 of what he was capable of under pressure. You know, we got married real young. Too young, probably. You're 24, 23. It's too young. It wasn't young because we were young. It was young because we had been lied to by everyone who wanted us to get married. You know? Like, boomers cannot give my generation marriage advice because you did not live in the same world. You know? Like, you can't. You can't. I'm sorry. My dad, the best piece of marriage advice he gave me was, son, never go to bed angry. If you guys are in a fight, what you need to do, you need to step away. You need to take a minute to calm down. Walk in another room. When you're calm, you come back. Okay, that's the yes of a boomer who's never had been married in a one-bedroom apartment. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm sorry. It's a completely different world. I'm sorry we set the economy on fire, but you know, like, you cannot be married and righteously angry in a one-bedroom apartment, guys. You have a fight with your wife. You have two options. You can go to your bedroom like a 6-year-old on timeout, you know, calm down, or you can leave and get divorced. Or, I guess there's a third option. You sit on the sofa and watch MasterChef Junior next to someone who doesn't really know how to wash plates after 20 years. Did anyone else have a highly specific argument with their wife before going on tour? Okay. I don't care. You guys like the other shit a lot. It's Halloween time. It's a very spooky time of year. I used to love slasher movies a lot. My wife was always like, that's so gross. How can you watch horror movies? Fuck, man. I watch horror movies because they're fake. Why do you listen to 38 hours of serial killer podcast every week? Does anyone here listen to serial killer podcast? Yeah. Let me rephrase it. Does a single man here listen to serial killer podcasts? Okay, cool. It's mostly an audience of women because serial killer podcasts are just training for dealing with men. If you're a man who listens to them, it sounds like you're up to something. My wife listens to only serial killer podcasts. It did not bother me until we went camping. Alright, let's play. I was making a fire. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a steak tonight. I'm making this beautiful dinner. It'll be so romantic down there. Just like, piecing it together. I heard a stick break behind me. And I was like, oh, honey, it's just you. I thought you were a killer. And my wife said, I would never kill you out here. The ground is too hard to dig. Fuck marriage counseling. I'm getting you a This American Life box set. That's what you're doing from this point on. Does anyone have a favorite serial killer? Like actual serial killer? Anyone have a favorite?
Yes.
Okay, there's a brave, honest yes. But who is it?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was not ready for you to call it.
No, it's okay. It's just a name. Just a name.
So Crime Junkie.
Two?
Crime Junkie. Oh, serial killer podcast.
No, like a serial killer themselves.
Oh.
Yeah, you're like, I can't pick just one. I need them all. You know.
Okay, I'll do one from where I'm from. So,
oh yeah.
The Kansas City Butcher.
The Kansas City Butcher?
Yeah.
I've never been hipster about serial killers before. It's a local reference. You wouldn't get it. Universally, people are always like Ted Bundy or Charles Manson. Charles Manson was not a serial killer. He was an influencer.
Yeah.
Other people didn't. Dickhead loved that. Great. The other one that I get all the time seems to always be Ted Bundy, and I do not get. Okay. I don't get why people like Ted Bundy so much. A lot of times when I was in college, a lot of my lady friends would be like, Ted Bundy, he was the hottest serial killer ever. He was so sexy. I could have saved him. It's like, that's not how that would work. Ted Bundy wasn't that hot, he just could listen well. I think that's what we did. And if you don't know anything about Ted Bundy, here's a quick update. In the 1980s, he killed 35 women that we know about. Personally, I think that's too many. I'm not a moralist, but too many. And I will say that one thing I did not know about him until recently was that Ted Bundy in college spent 3 years working as an operator at a suicide hotline. Yeah. Now here's the thing, if I was a serial killer, I would also get a job at a suicide hotline. I'm very lazy. I would just end every call with, I don't know, bro, sounds like you got a lot of shit to think about this weekend. Not Ted Bundy, he was in murder for love of the game, guys. He went to work and saved lives every day. That's right, we're gonna talk about the lives Ted Bundy saved. Do you realize if he stopped 3 nurses from killing themselves, he's technically a net positive for saving lives? Every day he would show up and people would be like, thank God, Ted Bundy's here. We're gonna save some people today. They'd hand him the phone, he'd be like, yeah. Susan, yeah, no, I know it seems dark, but I want you to know you're not gonna die alone in your house today. You're gonna die at the lake like I planned. Click. I'll leave you with a quick story. I feel like everyone tried to figure out the best way to survive during the pandemic. One of the ways that I survived was picking up a lot of odd jobs. I would help my friends out when they were too tired with their little side businesses and shit. And that is how I spent 6.5 weeks as a stepmom porn star. My best friend is a porn star. She specializes in what's known as MILF porn. If you don't know what a MILF is, it is a porn term for a woman who is 28. And we have all the MILFs right now making stepmom porn because our generation learned all the wrong lessons from divorce, apparently. They're like, you get 2 Christmases and a hot daddy. Oh, God, you know? But during the pandemic, porn production shut down, so a lot of porn stars would go on sites like OnlyFans or Sex Panther, and they would sex with fans for money. And after about a year of the pandemic, I went over one day and she was just distraught, heartbroken. And I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, I think I have to stop talking to my fans. They're just too much for me. They're so sad. And I was like, oh, after everything you've done on film, you can't handle some sad sons? I could be mom to sad sons. She was like, fucking prove it. And she threw a phone at me like I picked up a job dealing pills. She's like, here's a phone. These are the boys who texted me. Pretend you're me. Here's some pictures of my boobs. Send them if they are. I lasted 6.5 weeks as a stepmom porn star. And what I learned in that 6.5 weeks is that John Michael Bond is a fucking amazing stepmom porn star, okay? I made twice as much money in my first month as she did. She was pissed, okay? She's like, what are you doing? What's your secret? Here's my secret. I gave those boys the one thing they never had. I gave them a good mom. I'll explain. Day 1, guy hits me up. Sup, mommy, show me your tits. I'm like, how the fuck you coming at me with such strong language? You're gonna talk to a woman like that? You're gonna talk to your stepmom like that? Show me your bed. I bet it's messy like your life. He was like, I don't know what's going on, but please continue. I was like, make your bed, send me $50. He's like, yes, ma'am. I was like, I'm a national. Day 2. Sup, mommy, show me them cheeks. How are you talking to me with such a broad voice when you're doing so poorly at work? How do you know I'm doing poorly at work? Because you said spread those cheeks. Show me your books. I'm disappointed in you. Thank you, I'm so confused. Send me $50. Yes, ma'am? Over the course of 6.5 weeks, guys, what I did was raise up a generation of men, okay? I gave them dating advice. I gave them work advice. We sexted a little. It was great. One guy I talked to about search engine optimization for 20 minutes. That was weird. But eventually, I'd have to quit, and here's why I had to quit. It's because of one question I did not realize men asked. Because I've been with the same woman for 20 years. It didn't occur to me to ask this. If you like dick in this room, has someone with a dick ever asked you, is this the biggest dick you've ever seen? Men, why the fuck are you asking a question designed to hurt your own feelings? My wife's seen Game of Thrones. This isn't the biggest dick she's ever seen. And every day I'd be like, is this the biggest dick you've ever seen? And I want to be like, it's bigger than mine. They didn't want to hear that. So what I said is, that dick's so big you need a license to use it in 20 states. And they'd be like, so top 5? It's like, you're broken. You're so broken. And then one day a guy threw me for a loop and asked top 3, and I was like, I'm in a baby arms race. I cannot win. So I said, fuck it, I can't do it, and I quit. And I went to my friend's house. And I knocked on her door and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm done. She's like, why? I was like, the boys are going through it. She's like, I fucking told you. She's like, what broke you? And I was like, the question was, do I have the biggest dick you've ever seen? And she was like, oh yeah, they'll do that. And I looked at her and I was like, hey, I owe you an apology because I only got this job because I was an asshole to you. You told me about a problem and I just made fun of you. And I thought your job was easy because I've always seen it as something easy and I didn't respect you as a friend and I'm sorry. And she said, honey, don't worry about it. I love you. And honestly, you made me a lot of money and you're not the first person to ever help me with this. As far as I'm concerned, you're like one of the best. And I was like top 3. She's like, get the fuck out of my house.